Time for basketball in focus. Shane's Rib Shack for a Thursday. Got the St. Pius girls team in tonight. The Comets are with us. Got the Comet crew in tonight as well. The family is here. Everyone's here. Coach Kristen Shelton's here, and she has an outstanding team, 67-0 over the past couple of seasons, and not lost a game now in well over 2 years and almost into 3 years. And I know you love your team. You're proud of your team. This has been a good group of kids. Sometimes it's hard to keep kids together, but you've been able to do that with these girls. Keep these kids together, and you've seen some outstanding results, Coach.
One thing that's really special about St. Pius, and I was just telling you I worked there, and also the PE teacher, AD, is these girls are together pretty much from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. So they know every little thing about each other. And so the chemistry is built pretty early. They also play basketball in 5th and 6th grade there. That's our JV level. So by the time they get to 7th and 8th grade, we're ready to go.
So you bring them up through the ranks, and do you also get to coach these girls in the summer on the AAU teams?
I don't coach this age group.
Some of your AAU teams are older. You coach some of the older girls.
Yeah,
too.
I have a sophomore Gator team, but I had 10 AAU players on my team this year, year-round players, so I really can't take a lot of credit. I just had a pretty talented group this year.
Is all that coming from the Gators program, or there's several different programs you work with?
We have several different programs. We have mostly Gators.
I saw a program the other day that said it was like the Gator Phoenix tryout. I thought that's an interesting combination there.
Yeah, that's the boys. We have Gators, we have a couple Phoenix, we have a Winston-Salem Steeler, and we have a couple girls that play for the Ambush. So we're representing 4 AAU organizations.
How many of these girls on your team now, like you say, have been there for most all the girls at the 8th grade level have been with the team for those 2 years? You got those 67 wins, right?
Yes, all 8 of the 9 that were with me this year were there for all 67. We had 1 new 8th grader this year.
How did you end up as the coach over at St. Pius of all places?
I actually started right out of college. I was at Greensboro Day School, working with Freddie Johnson, and had the JV girls program there, and they just didn't really have a PE position open, and that's what I wanted to do. So he actually called over to St. Pius and kind of hooked me up there, and that was 14 and a half years ago.
Wow, so you've been at St. Pius 14 and a half years.
It's pretty much been my only job, and I just haven't been able to leave.
You kind of grew up over at St. Pius.
I did.
You grew up with your players.
I was young, and not so much anymore. But
you still got the energy, though, right?
Still got the energy.
Energy levels are good. You love to get those good young coaches. They're first starting out, they got all the energy, willing to work those long hours, do anything it takes to get the program going where it needs to get going.
Yeah, we still are doing everything it takes.
How about your husband? He's also a coach.
Yeah, my husband Steve coaches over at Greensboro Day as well, and he also coaches for CP3. It's pretty much in the family. I think it's why the marriage works. We don't see each other too often. We're kind of out coaching all the time, but it works for us. So.
Well, if he coaches that CP3 team, he's got some pretty good connections too then.
He has a lot of connections, yeah.
How about these young ladies, though? You brought 5 of the starters with you tonight. Can you talk about them a little bit? Because we're going to get to talk to them, too. But how about these young ladies you brought with you?
Well, let's see. I brought my point guard, Ava Casper. She's a 4-year player. She kind of runs the show for us. Very composed, smart player. She'll be attending Page High School next year.
Wow, so she'll be a freshman at Page next year.
She'll be a freshman at Page, and her sister.
Debbie Jones should probably send you some perks on the side, some things.
Debbie Jones is pretty excited for what we're sending her. We're actually sending her 3 players. The 2 Hurd twins over there, Emma and Jillian Hurd, they'll also be attending Page. Emma's kind of a utility player. She plays inside and out. Jillian's a 1-2. They're a nice little duo.
So the Caspers, it's going to be interesting. At Page next year, you had the 2 Casper sisters.
2 Cargos
and the 2
Cargos.
Did the Cargos come to your program too, or they were at Mendenhall, right?
They did not. They were with the Gators for a while, but they didn't come. They were at Mendenhall, yeah.
Wow, you're actually with Paris Key leaving. You're sending Coach Jones enough and these 3 players to kind of fill that void to some degree.
Yep. We also have Bridget Simmons. She is my lefty center. Very dominating down there. She was hard to stop. That left hand was a really good weapon at the middle school level. She will be attending Bishop McGinnis, and she'll be playing for Brian Robinson.
That's a good program.
I know he's excited to get her. She's also in their AAU system over there with the Steelers and stuff. So, and then we have Malin Brady. She plays the 2-3 for us. She will be attending Greensboro Day School. And she'll make an instant impact there. She's a tough player.
So all these girls are going on to bigger and better things next year.
Bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know about better.
You're going to miss them, right?
67-0. I don't know about better, but bigger.
Yeah, to a different level, a little bit higher level. But you're going to miss these girls. I know you are.
Oh, my gosh. They know. We're like a family at St. Pius, and it'll be hard to give them up. But I don't think there's much more we could have done. It was a good ending.
I understand somewhere, I was reading a little bit about that ending. Maybe it was either the semifinal game or the championship game. It got pretty tight there. You guys have been somewhat, in some games, not really tested all that much in some games, but then you get in that final situation, it became a pretty tough back and forth test down the road. Yeah.
You know, we tried to test ourselves this year. We scheduled tough, and we just responded and just played well and never really got into any 10-point games or anything. And we actually had played the team that we played in the Shamrock Championship at St. Pius earlier in the year and had won by 20, 21 points. That doesn't mean we went in overconfident. They were good that day, and triple overtime. And we won by 7, but we had to do everything. We had to pull out every trick in the book, let me tell you.
Did you ever be thinking about it over there on the bench coaching? Did you start to prepare yourself mentally what happens just in case? Had you ever done that before? I mean, you're always winning all these games, but there would come a day, one day, you're 67, you got through it this year without hitting that crazy ditch. As you go down the road and hit a bump or two, you didn't go in the ditch, but do you ever have to try to protect? What I tell these girls, this ever happens? What are we going to say?
Well, we talked about it at the beginning of the year, that going undefeated the year before, I think 35-0 was amazing, but it doesn't happen very often.
Right.
And to just cherish it, don't expect
you're lucky. 35-0. You probably learned a lot from Coach Freddie Johnson. One thing about that, you learned how to schedule to get that many games in.
It's a lot of games.
You're the AD too, though, right?
That's
pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, 35 games. That's a ton of games.
But so it wasn't a goal of ours for this year. But we said if it happened, as long as we played hard and we played well, we'd learn from it. And as long as it wasn't in one of the tournaments, it was going to be okay. And it just so happened that we were able to do it again.
How do you build this team, as well as the AAU teams and practices, but as far as building the team at St. Pius, how do you build the team while they're over there? Do you get to coach them also during the day, and you teach them in classes and stuff too?
Let's just say we do a lot of basketball in PE class, but we practice only two times a week, 2-hour practices a week. And
how do you designate those? How do you decide what you only go 2 practices a week? How do you come up with that game plan, and how come you're limited to that amount of time?
It's actually our league, our conference rule.
I gotcha. Okay.
And it's we have a lot of JV boys, JV girls. We have a lot of teams, and we got to get them all in. And if we make a practice time rule, nobody practices more than anybody else. And
obviously, it doesn't limit you any as far as your success goes.
No, because we played the 35 games.
Yeah, you get your practice work in during the game situations.
We went a stretch where we probably went a month where we practiced 2 times a week and had 3 games. So we were going 5 days a week regardless. So they love to play. I mean, they would have played every day if we could have done it.
Were you a player yourself back in the day, coming up?
I did. I played for college.
Did you really? Okay.
I did.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who coached you back in those days?
Barb Bausch.
I remember that name a little bit. Yeah, it rings a little bit of a bell.
She was a good coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I came from upstate. I'm actually from upstate New York. So kind of in the Syracuse area. I came here to play basketball.
So you're probably the college point guard back in the day.
I was a college point guard.
Can't beat that.
Didn't really have the physique for any other position. Darn it.
Hey, but tell you what, those make some of the best coaches, because I understand up in New York now that former Duke point guard at Buffalo, Bobby Hurley, coaching there. Those point guards always, you look at Wojciechowski at Duke, still coaching there, all these different point guards. I mean, they tend to make pretty good coaches because they got to know the game inside out.
The game inside out from every position too.
Mm-hmm.
So
because you're distributing the ball to all those different players.
I actually think if I could go back and play college ball after coaching for 15 years, I would be a better player now than I was then.
You've learned a lot even after you got out there.
You learn a lot from these kids. You think you're teaching them a lot, you learn a lot from them too.
Did you go to camps back in the day, early days too, and do all those things with your team and even as yourself?
The AAU wasn't, I'm not that old, but the AAU wasn't as prominent as it is right now, but I did the summer camps and the summer leagues, and we grew up in a neighborhood full of boys, and my brother played college ball, and so I was playing all the time. My father coached. I was kind of born into it.
Wow. That is
And then I married into it too. So
now, how did you and Coach Shelton, I always call him Coach Shelton, Coach Steve, how did you guys get together?
It's the funniest story because when I got the JV girls basketball job at Greensboro Day School, like my first or second year out of college, and then Freddie called and said, I need somebody to sit the bench for JV tennis. You're going to coach with this guy named Steve Shelton. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about anything. I just need a girl representative there because it was a girls' team. And I said, all right, I don't really know much about tennis. Long story short, about 4 or 5 months later, we're dating. About 10, 12, don't ask why. About 10, 12 years later, we're getting married.
10 or 12 years later.
Yeah.
So,
I made him work for it.
yeah, a lot of work to be done over there, right? You guys are so busy, you probably didn't have time to slow down and get married.
That's right.
But you did tell us, I know we're going all over the board here, you did tell us one of the other Greensboro Day assistant coaches, I guess, he's getting married tomorrow on Friday.
Yes, congratulations to one of my husband's dearest friends, Jeff Smith. Will be marrying his girlfriend from South Carolina tomorrow evening. And we're hoping to make it there. We're hoping the weather doesn't.
That's probably going to be in a
slow us
real
down.
nice section of South Carolina, I bet, too, probably.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going yet. I'm just going to punch it in the morning and go.
Gotcha. Now, you did go, the girls went to the ACC tournament today, the women's tournament, right?
We did. We went to see Syracuse win. Yay. For all of you that know me, I'm a huge Cuse fan. And then we stayed and watched Miami Boston College. And I think it was good for the girls because they got to see what the next level is all about. And a lot of my girls, that's their goal.
And the Syracuse women's team is not a bad team from what I was seeing.
No, they were a 5 seed. And
a 20-win team, right?
Yeah.
That's hard. They're kind of tough sometimes. The Carolina's been with the balance for years. Men and women both doing well. Duke does it too.
Yeah.
But for some of the schools, that's sometimes a tough balance. You've got a real very good men's team, but sometimes not a very good women's team.
And they're just now up and coming. This new coach has done a great job with them. But they also have the 2 girls from, I think, Raleigh Millbrook, the Day twins. That won the state championship
I know
last
one is
year.
Brianna Day. I won't forget her.
Brianna played today, I think.
Yeah. Those are the ones that played
They
against.
both got in, but I think Brianna played more than her
Wow, that's
sister today.
very ironic.
So that was fun.
We just saw them last year in the state championship game against
That's what I was
Page.
telling the girls at the game.
Wow, that's amazing.
That could be you.
I know, it's crazy how it works because they got the 2 Jones sisters at Westover site,
Yep.
Jessica and Jasmine Jones. I mean, and I understand they're going to Auburn, which is not a bad deal.
No, that's not a bad deal at all.
And you got Paris
Nice
Key
to go
going to
together.
Vanderbilt,
Yep.
all these places.
Actually, the Hurd sister plays for Tennessee.
Okay.
Sierra Burdick is her name.
Sierra
It's her
Burdick, the kid out of
stepsister.
Charlotte.
Yeah, that's her sister.
Yeah, I got you. A lot of
Yeah.
connections there then.
Yeah.
Sierra Burdick, very highly mentioned on that in Charlotte, and that Observer website and all this stuff. Now, she played for...
She played for Butler.
Butler. That's when Butler had the coach who was just such a dynamo at the time. Yeah.
And Sierra's really come on strong.
Sierra
I
Burdick.
follow her at Tennessee. She's having a great year.
And that's the Hurd sister's sister. Because I saw something one time, I saw it very interesting. I saw about Burdick having a Greensboro connection.
That's it.
I wasn't able to pull it all together, but it's interesting. Very interesting.
She actually came last year to an open gym early in the season and kind of just talked to the girls and thought that was nice because kind of somebody to relate to,
Sure, a big name.
somebody for them to look up to.
Somebody's moved up to the top level. What about, do you girls go to some of the, take your teams, I guess, you go to the college games like the ACC Women's Tournament. Do you take them to some of the high school games too? They go to a lot
You know
of
what?
those?
We try to really support Bishop McGinnis. We have some girls from Pius playing over there.
Who do you have
right
playing
now.
over there from Pius?
Okay, we have Julia Brown.
Very good player, yeah.
Yeah, and she's actually going to Western Carolina.
Not a bad
She
shot
was a Gator
there.
for a few years too.
Good.
Olivia DiFrancesco, who's out with a torn ACL.
She's been injured, right? Yeah.
Their team that played for me was undefeated, and they won the Shamrock their 8th grade year. Cassidy Krieber's over there. She's a freshman. She played for me last year. She was part of the undefeated team.
What about
that
the
we had
Nieders
last year.
twins or the Nieders sisters? One's older, one's younger.
Danielle played for St. Leo's, who's in our conference. They're out of
Gotcha,
Winston.
gotcha.
Cameron didn't. She played for like a public school in Winston-Salem, but yeah, they're tough too.
What do you think? I know you've had a lot of talent over there at
lot of
Bishop
good sisters
McGinnis.
around here,
Yeah,
don't
a
we?
lot of connections.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Robinson, what do you think's been his key to all that success? 8 championships. I know a lot of people wanted them to move up to like 2A. So
Yeah.
to get these guys out of 1A and to be
Yeah.
2A, they're dominating so much. What do you think's been the
Honestly,
reason
Coach
he's been so successful
Robinson,
there?
like, he's just such a good coach. He gets everything out of his players. They just would do anything for him out on the floor. He knows his stuff.
And it
I mean,
looks
he
like
could be coaching anywhere.
Because he had, Megan Buckland, right?
He had
She
Megan
was there.
Buckland. She's
Yeah.
at Carolina.
Yeah.
Just had her 3rd ACL tear,
Boy, she's
unfortunately.
had some very tough luck.
Yeah.
But Coach, it seems like every Coach Robinson is like, well, I guess this next year he lost so much off last year's team, you'll see a little bit of a decline. But I know they had a 2-point game the other night. They've
They
had some
did.
close ones,
Yeah.
but it never seems to actually escape or leave them. They're right there every
I think
time.
when you do it 8 years in a row, you know how to do it.
And do you think some of those girls get better sometimes? So they had that 2-point game, it was close, but do they get better when it gets to be tournament time? They start
Yeah.
kind of, because they've been there so many times before.
Yeah, they've been
sometimes
there.
maybe during the season we're trying to work our way to get to the tournament. That's when we're going to. The coach doesn't want them to do it that way, but they kind of turn up a
Yeah.
couple more notches when they get in that big tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they've been there. They know how to win those close games. You know, I'm sure the other night was stressful for them, but,
Had
you
to
know,
be.
they
But
made
that's
it out on top.
It's a
They know how
very
to do
tough
it.
conference they're in. You got Bishop, you got East Surrey, you got Mount
Winston-Salem
Airy,
Prep.
Winston Prep, very tough. Yeah, those are very
Actually, they
tough.
split with Winston-Salem Prep this year. I think that's who they play tomorrow night.
Yeah, in the final,
It's
exactly.
Prep.
Right.
So go Villains.
How tough is it at home? Say like you, I mean, kind of going back to the old sports analogy with a husband who coaches, wife who coaches, both involved in the sports. I mean, sometimes you're rolling 67-0. Maybe sometimes Greensboro Day School might occasionally lose a game, God forbid, but they lose a game here and there. How tough is it sometimes to try to get through all that? I mean, you just had all that success.
Let's just say we don't talk about the losses very much at home.
I got you.
You know,
but it's good for both of you.
Honey?
Yeah, it's good for you. They don't happen very often for both of you.
Right. We haven't had to have those conversations.
But you probably had kind of a
years.
Saturday evening get together maybe about a week or so ago after a tough Saturday. I'm sure you had to get through that.
I was actually at Shamrock, but they had just started. I'm sure you're talking about the loss to Wesleyan.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't go over well. I think they felt that they outplayed them.
They did.
They felt like they outplayed them and just kind of gave it away. So Steve, he didn't recover from that for a while.
Still getting over that one.
Still getting over that one, I think. Yeah.
It's amazing how Wesleyan is able also to kind of get strong as the season went on. They got better. Greensboro Day was very good all year long, but they did level off a little bit toward the end, which they don't like to have it like. Everybody wants their team to peak at the right time, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Greensboro Day, they lost a lot from last year, and I don't think they expected to do what they did.
I think they were overachieving there for a good while.
Yeah, who doesn't want to overachieve?
Yeah, I know, because you got guys like the Darius Moore kid steps up, the Rouse kid, all those guys are playing, and they're playing without guys like Reggie Dillard and John Terry and guys they'd had the year before, and Christian Harrison. Who would want a 6'7" guard like that guy? It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and Will Dillard.
Yeah, little Will.
He came on strong.
Still call little Will.
Down the stretch,
yeah. He's going to be tough. Did you guys go watch that middle school All-Star game the other night?
We actually, and most of my girls were invited into that game, but
you were playing probably, right?
We were playing in Shamrock.
Yeah.
You had to turn that away. I heard it was fun.
You should have pulled off the Will Dillard. I think Will played the championship game that day and turned around and played. How in the world he did that, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
our last
crazy.
game was at 2:30.
Yeah.
I think we would have had to get back here pretty quick for
We
that.
had that police escort to get back for that.
Up,
yeah. But that's good you were invited, though. That's the main thing.
Yeah, we were.
So they came by and talked to you about who would make it from your team. You probably had like 3 players would have gone at least.
I tried to get all 5 in, and they were looking into it, but we're just going to go with 3.
Feel pretty good about that 5, right? It's been a good core 5.
You notice I say 5 a lot.
I picked that up, yeah.
Because it wasn't just 1 or 2 stars. It was a team. I mean, they all get along. They love each other. They play well together.
They probably travel well, too, I would think, after all this success. Travel as a team, going back and forth to games, trying to have any problems in your travels as a team.
Well, the funny thing about St. Pius is we don't have a bus or anything like that.
Got a van,
we just get in the car and we go, and the parents are a huge part of it at St. Pius. And the only time we had a bus was we did take a charter bus to Shamrock. It was kind of the big deal.
Yeah. So when you guys go on the road games, it's almost like going on your regular AAU road trips.
It really is, yeah.
So how's the schedule go for you now? You've got this season, a lot of success this year, success last year. Are you right into the AAU quickly? Does it turn around fast? You going to start coaching there now?
Yeah, I actually, for my own sanity, took about a week and a half off. And so we'll start Monday with my girls. We're going to be practicing out at Northwest.
I was going to ask you, where you practice at? Northwest?
Yeah, we were at Prolific Park, but we got a nice deal. Darlene Joyner and the AD over there, John Hughes.
Good man, yes.
Nice enough to lend us their gym 2 nights a week, so we're very excited about that.
And you've had a few, if I'm not mistaken, a few of those Northwest Guilford girls over the years.
Yep.
Have been on some of your teams.
Yep, I have five that are on the current team right now.
Wow.
But I've had... I probably have had 20.
So that's to me, that's a team people should keep an eye on.
I think
people might think I'm crazy saying so, but I think this Northwest Guilford girls team has got a lot of possibilities in the future. Some of those strong sophomores. You've got Morgan Pointer, you've got Catherine Moore, you've got Haley Barber. I mean, you've got Tony Tucker. That's a core 4
Savannah
right
Neese.
there. Savannah Neese, don't forget Savannah, right?
It's
you
funny
probably
because
coach almost all those guys.
Morgan Pointer's sister, or aunt and I, were roommates in college at Guilford College. So I've known them for a very long time, and it's just funny. 15 years later or whatever, I'm coaching her.
It's giving you some good inroads in.
Yeah.
Good inroads.
Yeah, they're a good group. And but it's not just Northwest. I mean, I have Peyton Kadlachak from Caldwell.
Yeah, she was here a couple weeks ago.
She was,
right,
and that's why I said that.
Sharp kid.
She's a great kid. Emily Casper over here from Page.
Yeah, outstanding young player.
A couple girls from Rockingham.
Did you teach Emily that outside shot? She loves that 3-pointer. Did you teach her that?
I really can't take the credit for that. I think she learned that pretty early on.
She's done well with that 3-point shot.
I used to taught Emily how to ugly up her game a little bit. She tried to play like a pretty game.
Yeah, get a little tougher.
Ugly it up, girl. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
It's an act of survival out there, right? You got to survive out there.
Yes, you do. I say they do a pretty good job of it.
So a few Page girls, a few Northwest girls, and a few other girls spread out other places.
Yeah, a
as
couple
well.
Virginia girls, a couple Rockingham girls. Yeah, we have 11.
What are you doing for next year now? You got to rebuild this team a little bit.
So I'm losing, my 5 starters were 8th graders, but I'm losing 9 great 8th graders. Role players, girls that, come in and get the job done as well. But I also have 5 returning AAU 7th graders that are going to be playing all year and got a little taste of it this year. A couple of them, got starts and lots of good playing time. So it'll be hard to say we'll do that. And I'm not even concerned with doing that. That, like I said, that's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing to do what they did. But I think they'll be good again next year. We won't put that pressure on them to be 67-0, but hopefully we can win the conference and
Keep going.
keep rolling.
And Coach Kristen Shelton with us, Basketball in Focus, Shane's Rib Shack for a Thursday, kind of the court report. And what about your goals for the long term? You know you love St. Pius, but what about thoughts about aspiring to maybe even move up and move maybe to college one day, maybe coach in the women's professional leagues? What, kind of reality of things. How does it look down the road?
People ask me that all the time, and I've had a few phone calls over that last few years, but I honestly love my job at St. Pius. I tried to coach high school and still stay at Pius and a few years back, and it was just so hard to do. And it's just a great age group. I still get the taste of the older kids in AAU. This will be like my 3rd or 4th team I've coached all the way up.
Right.
So I still get the older girls, and, I'm just happy right now. Maybe one day something will open up and it'll call my name, but right now I'm just...
Any thoughts in the back of your mind about saying maybe one day if that Guilford College job ever came open, go back to the old college and coach there again?
Sure, I definitely entertain it, but, like I said, right now I'm happy, and I think that's a big part of it.
That's a good thing, too. You're still relatively young, too, so you've got plenty of years to make all those decisions, do all those things.
Thank you for saying that. I'm relatively young.
Do you still mix it up in practice with the players? You ever pick up the ball and get involved in practices?
Yeah. They're laughing at me right now probably because I shoot and give them a hard time and talk about my college days, and although they're long gone, they've heard of them. They know about them.
And you can still compete with these girls.
I can still run with them, I'll tell you that. I can run with them. They're all bigger and stronger than me now, but I do still run.
They've grown up quite a bit under your tutelage, right?
Yeah.
Now, as far as running the girls, and are you kind of a shooting, teaching coach, or what kind of system do you run? Is this
I
team?
think we're defense first.
Yeah. Okay.
We definitely worried more about how we played on the defensive end, and kind of figured if we could keep teams, in the 20s, then we had a really good chance to win. Our offense didn't have to be that great. Individually, we were so strong, we could score.
And the team runs pretty well, too, when they do get in the transition game up and down the court.
They get up and down the floor well. I didn't have a ton of outside shooting, but what middle school team does, we had a lot of size. So that was a big advantage for us.
Do you do it all yourself, or do you have like a coaching staff?
Actually, a couple of my coaches are here tonight.
Oh, good.
The Herd's dad, Derek, he's one of my assistant coaches. We've been doing, between track and basketball, we've been coaching together for over 5 years. And there's Pete Lindsay right there, who's been a part of our program, started with the JV, but I guess he's been at Pius for probably around 10 years. So there's some good stability with our coaching staff, too. So,
what's the layout like at St. Pius as far as the facilities go? I know you guys are located off Elm Street there?
Elm and Cornwallis,
yeah.
And we have a gym. We still call it the new gym, but it's probably 14 years old now. But we have a good, big, high school-sized gym that we practice in.
You mentioned the track team. Where's the track team? Where do they train at?
The soccer field, and we practice at Bishop McGinnis, too.
All right. Now, do you get some games? The basketball team, you've had the schedules. You lay all that out yourself. 35 games probably at least this year. And looking at that, do you have any success getting these public schools come on board to play you?
We did. Last year, Southeast Guilford had a really strong team, and I was friends with the coach, so we hooked up last year. This year we played Rockingham, who had a strong kind of AAU.
And this is all within the middle
caliber.
school range, right?
Yeah, this is all middle school.
Gotcha.
We played Northern Guilford.
That's a pretty tough team.
Yeah, we played Greensboro Day. They brought down some of their 8th graders that play varsity too. So Wesleyan has a strong team.
So when you played Greensboro today, if they brought down some of the 8th graders that play varsity, that was probably a pretty good matchup going against them.
I think it was like a 15-point game and a 12-point game, but they were both great games. I mean, they were good.
Now, who does Coach Steve Shelton, if he comes to one of those games, if it's
You
played,
stop right there. He doesn't come to games.
If it's played at Greensboro Day, who would he cheer for then?
Oh, I like to think St. Pius. We'll just leave it at that.
Gotcha. So that setup may never happen. That may never occur, right?
I think he might have walked into a game once when we were at Greensboro Day. Doesn't really frequent St. Pius too often.
Gotcha.
But that's okay. He's a busy guy.
But all that basketball activity, he's at like Prolific Park. He works there now, right?
Yeah, he's running their leagues out there. He's actually in charge of all the basketball operations there. Keeps him very busy.
He keeps you busy too, doing the PE classes and all the AD work at St. Pius.
Yep.
Who's the man in charge, the woman in charge? I'll say that directly at St. Pius. Who kind of heads up the academic setting there at St. Pius?
Oh, our principal? Mrs. Ann Kanapke, and actually her daughter played for me this year as well. She was a 7th grader. She's been the principal there for the past few years, and she was a teacher there when I first got there, and she's awesome. The kids love her. She's great. She's a huge supporter of athletics and a huge supporter of our team this year.
Good academic foundation, I'm sure, at St. Pius.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Challenging. The kids are very prepared, I think, when they move on from their years at St. Pius.
Now, you guys, are you practicing today or practicing this week? Got any schedules and stuff like that lined up? Everybody's pretty clear for today, I guess, for the most part?
For the girls?
Yeah.
AAU now, we're done with St. Pius, which I can't even say without, choking up. But just AAU stuff now. I start next week. They've already started. I think their team started before we were even done because we played long. We went a little longer than the public schools.
Do you guys go back out to the ACC tournament this week? Going to go back out and watch some more of those games?
I don't think. They all have AAU tournaments this weekend, so I think today was
So they're hitting the road then this weekend.
Yeah.
Where all do they travel and go to?
Winston-Salem Steelers are having a tournament this weekend. That's at Forsyth Country Day. So the Gators, we're hosting one at Prolific Park next weekend.
So you guys are going to be pretty busy the next few weeks.
Pretty busy, yeah. There's really not any downtime. Like I said, it took 1 week just to come home after school and put my feet up.
But that was strange, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know. For about 3 days and then you're bored. So you're like, okay, that was good.
Well, I found out today the Page boys are not playing tonight. Their game got postponed. They sure did. Yeah, it got postponed tonight. They were supposed to play West Charlotte. Their game got postponed, but they're playing all the other games tonight, which is kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah. So were they supposed to play Friday too?
If they won tonight, Page would play again on Saturday. But then they get postponed tonight.
So back to back.
Yeah, now they got to play Friday at 5:30 and play again. If they win tomorrow, play again on Saturday.
Well, I guess they're worried. It is doing a little something outside.
Yeah, but we're worried about the weather. But it's kind of interesting. We were talking about that on the way in, about the fact, as far as the weather conditions go, that the Guilford County team is the only team not allowed to play. But the other games, when the teams from outside of town have to travel in, have to travel back, they're still playing.
Yeah, I don't.
They've got that rule, I guess, in Guilford County where if
you don't go to school, you can't
they cancel after-school activities, that means you can't do anything.
Oh yeah, and they did cancel after-school activities.
But the Page boys, they did get a practice in.
I'll tell you what, at St. Pius, we don't follow Guilford County. Our principal
probably
kind of makes
very flexible.
She confers with other principals in the area, but we can make our own decisions. So a lot of times they're out, and we're on 2-hour delay, and so we don't have to make up the days that they'll have to make.
So if you can get that 2-hour delay in, you're in good shape.
Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
Extra 2 hours still counts for the day. It's the way to go. I love a 2-hour delay.
Do you guys ever do that early dismissal type thing like some of the schools do too?
We did an early dismissal last week. We dismissed it was that? What was that last week? No, we early dismissed on Monday.
Monday, bad weather that
Monday.
day. Right. I guess those out of a basketball talk, but as far as the school talk goes, those are busy times over at St. Pius and that side of town when those school dismissals come up, right?
Yeah.
All those parents coming in to get the kids.
All the parents come in to get the kids, but then you got the Page kids getting out right down the street.
Wow.
It's hard to get in and out of there those times.
So tell us a bit more about our first player we're going to talk to and get her over, Ava.
Okay.
Ava Casper. Tell us a little bit more about Ava.
Okay, well, Ava was my point guard. She played point guard for 4 years at St. Pius. She actually started last season as a 7th grader, so she is someone that was a big part of us going with the 67-0. But she did, in mid-January, break her thumb. She fractured her thumb, so she sat out a good portion of the end of the season, but managed to come back Well, really not because any doctor told her to, because that was her will. She was not going to be denied. She came back and played Shamrock, our last tournament, and we don't win that last game without Ava.
Got to have that point guard.
Got to have that point guard.
Yeah.
Yep. And she wasn't, 100%, but just she was our comfort.
Did you have Emily also back in the day? I guess.
I did have Emily. I won a PEXA tournament with Emily as well.
Wow.
Yep.
She was a guard for you also?
She was everything. Emily was a little bit of everything.
So she played a lot of different spots.
She wasn't quite on a team. She was on a team that was very successful, worked hard, great girls, don't get me wrong. But Emily had to do a lot on Emily's team, and she did. I think she grew up a lot in those 2 years, and I think it really prepared her for Paige.
Did you ever get a game, and then I'll get some girls over, did you ever have a chance to get a game maybe with like Mendenhall, ever play them? That would have been interesting, huh?
A couple years ago, yes, it would have been very interesting. We tried a few years ago, and it didn't work out. And I don't know. The last couple of years, we really tried to hook up with Northern and Coronado and Southeast.
Once you got to that Northern door and that Southeast door, knocking on those doors and was able to get in, that's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, and I hope we can stay in.
Yeah, stay in with those and then maybe add a few more teams to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't schedule like we do. I mean, they have a limit. And although our principal doesn't want us playing every, other second,
But the principal,
we have a little bit more freedom.
She's very supportive of your team, though. You got to feel good about that, right?
Very supportive. Yep.
One more thought or two. What about this boys team at St. Pius? Pretty good boys team?
Very good boys team.
How do they handle the young ladies' success? The young ladies are very successful, and the boys take that pretty well?
Well, we're not going to take anything away from the boys because they won the conference this year, too.
Oh, man, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Although they didn't go undefeated, they were awesome. And they get along. They're so close. They're not big classes. And I think there's about 58 kids or something in the 8th grade. And kids, they're like brother and sister.
Good support all the way around, right?
They gave the girls a hard time and the girls back a little bit every once in a while, but they're kids. But they rooted for each other, definitely. Down in Shamrock, those boys were, after they lost, they were at every single one of our games.
Wow, once their tournament was over, they stayed right with you guys.
Once they were done, it was all about the girls to them. And again, they were like our sixth man. I don't know that we pulled that game out without them.
Not too bad. That's good to get that kind of support.
It really is. And we had people just drive down from Greensboro just for the game. So.
And you probably keep up with all these girls too, like you mentioned earlier. Once they're gone, you don't lose contact. You guys do keep in touch.
We do. You can go to St. Pius on any given Saturday and see girls that have played there. Just come back just to visit and kind of still want to be a part of it. Girls that are at Bishop McGinnis, Olivia and Julia come by and watch us play, and Cassidy, who's over there now. Mary Regis, who's at Page, who played with us last year, still comes by. And so I know these girls will leave this year, but they'll be around.
It's going to be hard to eventually, and probably never will, really sever those ties then.
I told them we have a bond that nobody can ever take away. I mean, how many teams do what they did? And
yeah, because a good point made by one of the parents, I think Mrs. Hurd may have made that point about the fact when the girls do well, there's a lot of success for the girls, and sometimes the team doesn't do well, sometimes the coach gets a little flack there. But I mean, like you mentioned, the girls got the job done. You were fortunate to be with them and be able to coach them and bring them along.
Oh, look, I consider myself very fortunate to have had this group of girls. I mean, I've had a lot of good groups, but I'm very competitive. You don't know me that well yet, but I'm very, very competitive, and I never had to instill that in them, because they are too. So that made it very easy, and they kind of just bought in from day one. They wanted to win. They wore that jersey with pride, and they're friends, and they wanted to do it for each other, and they wanted to do it for me, and we wanted to do it for them. And it's just, although we didn't talk about a lot of that stuff.
Probably had a lot of good timeout gatherings during those games. You had to take a timeout, and probably a lot of strength and unity in those timeouts too, I can imagine, in that huddle.
Yeah, one of the biggest compliments I think that we got this year, was that someone from Raleigh made a comment, from the team that we played at the Shamrock Championship, made a comment about how during timeouts it was just so unique, just the way the girls responded to me, like just eye contact and like just held on to every word.
Soaked it all right in, yeah.
I mean, that's credit to them. I mean, you got a group that does that, you're going to be all right.
You guys probably had a lot of video. Probably took quite a bit of video of this season, got a lot of collectibles and photographs and things like that.
We actually had a banquet while we were down at Shamrock. We had a couple parents put some stuff together, and a lot of pictures, and a lot of embarrassing but proud moments. So yeah.
Now here's a question. Again, we're going to make our transition soon, but I keep thinking of these ideas, things to ask Coach Kristen Shelton. And and head coach of this St. Pius Comets team, 67-0 over 2 years. Do you and Coach Shelton have any? I always call Steve Shelton Coach Shelton. Even athletic directors, I call them coaches too. But do you have any children now?
We do not have children.
I was going to say, this is like, these kids are like your family. Yeah.
We say that all the time. I mean, I think that's why it's so hard to let them go, because you feel like, especially because I've been with them since kindergarten.
Yeah.
They've been a part of your life. You've been a part of theirs. And I mean, we were crying before the Shamrock Championship even started.
Because you knew it was the last go around with this group, I guess. Wow, that's big.
Even when I see them in the hallways, I still get choked up just because
that's big.
I won't get a chance to.
Can you use that as a coaching tool? Can you say in the locker room, "You are our family"?
Family. We said that all the time. Yep.
But do you ever have to break it down like a Jim Valvano would say? I'm coaching here. I don't have any family. You're the ones. You got to go do this for me tonight because I put this time on this team. We're all blood. We're on this thing so deep, so strong, so hard together.
Well, they've definitely heard "You're my family. We don't have children. I look at you as." That's pretty much how I feel about you guys.
That's a good thing.
I've never put the pressure on them to win for me, but they knew to win for me. Yeah. Just kidding.
Because you're so competitive, right? You instill that in your players. Yeah.
But it's funny you talked about Steve and I because, and this is off topic, but he's a huge Duke fan.
I didn't know that. Yeah, okay.
I'm a huge Syracuse fan.
Wow, that makes for a good game, right?
In the ACC, so we don't talk much about St. Pius and GDS as we get into some heated battles.
You can almost chronicle an entire chapter on just those two meetings between those two. Yeah. One of those games like 91-89, that game at Syracuse. And then the game at Duke.
The charge
Jim Boeheim's call. Yeah, right.
It should have been a block call.
So you guys end up at the men's tournament next week? Get to watch some of that?
I hope so. I'm asking around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we play in the tournament.
You've got tournaments yourself all the time.
But I'm hoping Friday night. I think Syracuse will be a 2 or 3 seed. They're supposed to play Friday night 7 or 9. So I hope to get out there at least then.
Good stuff. Let's get Ava over. If I can get her to assume your spot there. Let her have the chair you're coming up to next.
She's in the hot seat. Thank you, Andy.
Excellent job, Coach.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll have more questions for you sometime later. And maybe get Coach back in for one final thought here. Let's get Coach in one more time to close this. I don't think we would be closing it correctly if we didn't get Coach Shelton back in one more time as we wind it down at Shane's Rib Shack for a Thursday basketball and focus court report. Now you can give me the assessment. The girls did a very good job.
I'm so proud of them. Yeah, my gosh. I'm over there crying the whole time.
Malin at the end, coming off that broken wrist and getting the MVP. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? It's kind of crazy.
She did.
You got a solid group of girls, though. As one of the Hurd sisters said, very diverse group, too.
I think that's why they were so special, because each of them brought a little something different to the table, and which kind of made us a whole.
And I thought it was good, too, that Malin brought out Lizzie Knox, I guess it was. Lizzie, who got involved and had to step up. I mean, this team would not be complete without a little bit of adversity, a little bit of injury that came along, too.
Well, like when Malin went down, we all kind of just had to catch our breath, because I've never even seen Malin cry. And I've taught Malin since kindergarten.
She looks pretty stern, like she can hold it in.
She can, and she was hurt. And she told me, she texted me the night that she found out she was going to be out and said, Lizzie Knox is going to step up. And pretty much the next game, she had 19 points against Greensboro Day. And I looked at Malin and I said, well, you were right. But she stepped up because she helped out when Ava was out too. And
some pretty crazy stuff on a middle school, 8th grade, for the most part, 8th grade team. You tell somebody I had a player score 19, had a kid score 26. That means your team as a whole must have been putting some points on the board, too.
Yeah. But we had a couple games where we were in the 50s, and we knew if we could get it up there, we would be successful because, like I said, we tried to play good defense. We played a good zone defense, which limited, players to getting quality shots.
You guys got like banners over at St. Pius?
We do have banners. We have. This is right hot off the press. We have our banners coming in next week. For our big awards assembly next week. But
wow, that's going to be fun.
They're racking in because they won on JV too. So
wow,
they're going to have 3 or 4 or 5 banners over there when it's all said and done.
That's some good stuff. You got like a little miniature Freddie Johnson camp over at St. Pius.
I learned from the best.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I learned from the best.
I was telling the girls girls. It kind of, Freddie used to lose his voice occasionally too. Maybe not occasionally, just about every game. At some stage, you lose his voice. But I guess you lost your voice at one game also. And
well, I heard Bridget tell the story. I lost my voice at Shamrock probably Saturday sometime, and by Sunday it's so packed in there. I was calling out the plays, and we're in overtime. I can't get anything out, so I just grabbed Bridget's mom. And I just started shaking her. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Call the play, call the D. You gotta call it." She's just because one of our plays was called G, and she's like, "G." She didn't know what I was talking. And then we asked them to match up in man, and she's yelling out, "Match up, match up!" And thank goodness for her. I ended up texting her that night, "Thanks for saving us," because I couldn't get anything.
You remember the movie Hoosiers, right? You
Yes.
watched that? You remember when Shooter had to come on board for the coach that game?
Yep.
Coach got himself kicked out on purpose, so Shooter had to run the team.
Yep.
And kind of a similar way with you guys. Not exactly
I try
the
not
same.
to get kicked out.
Yeah, but you kind of got taken out with a voice that leaving
Yeah.
in. Yeah, you kind of got taken out of the
I
play
did
in
get
some
taken
ways.
out.
Wow, wow.
You'd be surprised at that environment down there. I mean, people don't know about the Shamrock tournament. It's
Well, I've got a
crazy.
contact in town, this guy, Nor Bursky. His daughter used to play for Bishop McGinnis years ago. She was a
Katie
tall-
Bursky.
Katie, yeah. Back
She
in
played
her,
OLG. I believe she won a Shamrock when she was
may
in the
have.
8th grade.
When she was younger, she was like 6 feet, maybe in about the 7th or 8th
She
grade.
sure
Never grew
was.
much more.
We
but,
never could beat them when she played.
Yeah, Our Lady of Grace and
Yep.
Katie Bursky. They had some
Katie
very good
Bursky.
talents over at Our Lady of Grace.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when they get to that next level. That's going to be interesting about the young ladies here. They get to that next level, and they've got to keep getting better and better, and how they improve, and they're going to realize it's going to be tougher at that next level.
It is, but these girls right here, they're ready for it. I mean, they got one foot out the door. They don't want to leave, but they're ready.
I had the
And
one
they're
girl talking
gonna
about
be very successful.
when the one young lady, one of the Hurd sisters, talking about Oklahoma men's basketball. I know these kids are deep into basketball. They keep.
Yeah, I
keep
was
up
like, I
with
don't
that.
know where that came from, but that's
pretty-
Jillian too.
That's
So
pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Did you write a lot of this down this year? Did you keep any like a little memoirs or write some notes down? Is it all in your mind for you to keep up with this team? Because so much going on.
I mean, every little thing you wrote, definitely I have.
And a lot
and
of
our
that,
score
gotta give a
book.
lot of credit to Miss Hurd on that too. 'Cause,
Yeah, she's-
Miss Hurd had the
Look at her.
word. She came through the word there. We used to like to put
Hurd with the word.
We used to like to put those titles up there. I think the titles, and sometimes I think that kind of got some of the readers' attention. And sometimes they were kind of, who in the heck are these kids?
Right.
Who do they think these are? These St. Pius Comets.
right.
But definitely, you put the team on the map. You definitely put the
Well,
team
you
on the
helped,
map.
so thank you.
Yeah, it's
Just, they deserved just a little bit of recognition, and you helped.
67-0 though. Not too many
67-0.
people see much like that before, I don't think. And you got to give all the credit to the young ladies. Great
give it
job
all
they
to
did.
them.
And a load of credit too to the fan base.
And look at them over there. They've been here the whole time.
In the bench. And the bench.
We've all been through something really special, and like I said, you can't. That's one thing they'll always have, that bond. If they live this, a lot of people don't get to live that. So
Certainly.
I hope that they always remember that.
And you look forward to seeing these girls not only at the high school level, but you're going to see some of these kids at the college level one day too, you think?
Absolutely. If they want to do it, there's a school for them, for every one of them, if they
Yeah.
want to play somewhere.
And they've got to realize too, and we got to begin to wind things down, but they got to realize also that even if it's not Duke, if it's not UConn, if it's not Tennessee, Wake Forest, or whatever, even a Guilford College is a good thing, because it's hard to really go back and trade off the importance of those years. Your years at Guilford College, at the college level,
Yep.
any college level, D3, D2, whatever, means so much.
I mean, I think kids get really caught up in D1, and really when it all comes down to it, you got to find the right fit for you. I mean, I had to do that. They'll have to do that. You want to go somewhere where you can be successful.
How did you find that fit from up around, I guess, up in New York? How did you
I know,
find that?
right?
And I know that World Be Free found it many years when I was a young kid.
actually
He found
stayed
it.
in his condo.
World Be
Long
Free.
story. Well,
Yeah.
another time.
Was that in New York or down here?
That was down here.
In
on
World Be
Topsail
Free?
Island.
Okay, on the
Yeah.
coast. Okay. Wow, some big
But
connections.
I just was recruited by the coach all the way up
And
there.
Barb Bausch is pretty slick on her part to spread those wings out that much.
Yeah.
We had Jack.
She was good. She brought in good players.
You remember
She was-
Coach Jensen? I'm sure he
Jack Jensen's daughter was a friend of mine. That's how we got the condo in Topsail Island. And
was. Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of balls.
so I was friends with Jack Jensen.
We did about a 2-hour interview with him on this show back when it was at Beef O'Brady's. Used to at Beef O'Brady's a
Oh,
few years
yeah.
back, and we did a show over there. But Coach Jensen, just a great man.
I loved him. He
Yeah.
was there when I was there for a little while. He was the golf coach. I don't think he was the basketball coach when I was there. I have a bad memory, but definitely
that-
a great male legend over at Guilford College.
No doubt about it. How about that women's team at Guilford College these days? They're doing pretty well still?
I actually have a girl, a Gator, Logan Harden. She's pretty much like 6-man. She's a junior. So I keep up with them.
What high school did she come out of?
Providence Grove.
Gosh, okay.
Yep. They had a great year. I mean, I think they just lost in the ODAC championship game to Randolph-Macon, but they're strong. She brings in good players over there, too.
How about these kids back here? One more time, what can you tell us about what this core group meant to this team, St. Pius Comets, and what you'll remember about these young ladies?
Well, what they brought to St. Pius, I think they brought like something for the kids to look up to and want to achieve, and they did that. They worked hard. They had goals. They accomplished them. We had fun.
Did you write any goals down before the season?
We did. We had the regular season champs, PEXA champs, Shamrock champs, and then we accomplished all of those.
Boy.
But for me personally, like, they got a spot right here. They know that. And they know I love them. I get choked up every time I talk about them, but we had a good ride.
If you and Coach Steve Shelton maybe have some children one day, well, if you have a young daughter, whether it be an Ava, whether it be Emma, maybe be a Jillian,
Well, it wouldn't be an
Bridget,
Emma.
Malin.
Although I love, it wouldn't be a herd, period. No, I'm just kidding. It would be a little combination of all 5 of these girls.
Yeah.
Let's be politically correct.
We've been
Gotcha.
told before the schools, her kids. Like, I remember after a track practice we had.
So you don't coach any other sports there?
I do. I coach track.
So I mean,
By the way, 3-peat. We're going for our
Wow.
4-peat this year.
none of these girls on the track team? Man,
When we were little.
it seems like.
When they were little, I think I begged them to go out there, but now they just play too much basketball.
So I guess they're getting all they need on that basketball
They
court.
are.
You got a 3-peat going with the track team.
Yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Man. So how do we get into some of these events? You got to keep us informed about some of these upcoming St. Pius events, the basketball team next year, the track team, those things too.
Well, hopefully Mrs. Hurd will still be on our side, even though her girls will be gone.
PR person, that's right.
I think her husband still plans on coaching. We'll see if that works out. I'd love to still have all my guys back.
I'll tell you,
We'll keep you posted.
you've done a great job,
Thank
Coach.
you. Thanks
Super
so
job.
much.
Yeah, and it will be on YouTube, and all the credit goes to the young ladies. Again, Ava, Emma, Jillian, Bridget, and Malin, the outstanding job they did.
And all the Pius girls that couldn't be here tonight, too. Shout out to all of them, because
Certainly.
without them, we're not here either.
That's right. This is the backbone, and the
Yep.
foundation comes to those other young ladies as well. And Kristen Shelton, outstanding coach of the St. Pius Comets, the job she's done. Long live Coach Shelton's. I put an S on it. Coach Shelton's. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks
Coach.
so much for having us.
You got it.
Can I say one last word?
One last word?
Hi, Mom.
That's a good way to close it. That's not bad. That's
Thank you so much.
Hey, enjoy it, ladies. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This
Enjoy
was
it.
amazing.
Thank you. Keep up the good work. See you next year.